Hi, hello, welcome to my channel, welcome back. I hope everyone is doing well. Today I'm gonna be talking about how long courtship should last for. This was a question someone asked me. They were like, how long do you think I should be courting for? What should be the timeline? I'm just gonna say this before I even say anything else. Generally, long courtship doesn't make sense to me. Let me tell you something. When a man sees a woman that he wants to marry, he knows it. It's not complicated for men. It doesn't take them long to figure out who they want to be with. Most times, the first few dates or first few months or weeks, first few weeks actually, that you meet him, like you meet a guy, he already knows if you're the kind of woman he wants to marry or not. He already knows. That's just the way men are. It's not hard for them. It's not complicated. So if it's taking a man long to decide if it's you or not, most likely it's not you. It really doesn't make any sense to me. It might to some other people, but this is just my own opinion. There's temptation. There's that factor of temptation. Once you guys start dating for long, there's something called see finish. See finish. Basically, it's where over familiarity, you guys know yourself way too much. You start acting like husband and wife when you guys are actually just still dating. You just get too comfortable, and one person just start losing value for the other person. It's just, there's no need for all of that. Also, there's that whole part that you guys start wanting to have sexual intercourse, which might just end up not letting you think clearly, which is the whole point of courtship. The point of courtship is to court and know if you guys are good together, if you guys will make great husband and wife. But once you add that sex factor in it, most times you can't even make a decision anymore because you're just thinking about sex. Sex has already clouded your judgment. You can't even, you can't think straight. Once you're convinced, the first step is seek the face of God. Drop it at God's feet. Ask God prayerfully if this is who He wants for you. If this is who God wants for you, and you're 100% convinced that this is God's will for you, what I would do is move forward, court for a few months. While courting, just pray. Naturally, as a young girl already, you should be living your single life, preparing yourself for marriage. You should be developing yourself, skills, travel when you can, pray. Just keep building upon yourself. The kind of man that you're praying for, the kind of man that you want to marry, ask yourself, what kind of woman does he want? What kind of woman is he praying for? Is he praying for a woman that has a master's degree, a woman that can speak another language, a woman that is well traveled, a woman that can hold a solid conversation, So develop yourself, improve on yourself, work on yourself, develop your relationship with God, make it strong, because this is the time you have with yourself. So when you get into a relationship, you're already ready. There's no work. The only work that needs to be done is the both of you getting to know yourself, and then praying and getting the strong conviction that this is who God wants for you. Make sure you're holding God's hand throughout the journey. And when I mean make sure you're holding God's hand throughout the journey, don't make a decision and invite God to come bless your decision. Make sure this is 100% God's decision. Make sure that this is who God wants for you. Be convinced that this is God's will for you. There has to be a way you hear from God. Have you heard from God? If you've heard from God and you're sure that that's who the person is, then what's the point of waiting? What's the point of just waiting? If it's the financial side of it, then that's a different factor. But most men will not make the move to courtship if they are not financially stable. That's something that, most men, when they're not financially stable, they are not even thinking about marriage. They are not thinking about it. So for him to make that step, for him to take that step, it means that he's okay. And like it goes back to what I was saying as a single girl. Make sure that you're working on yourself. Make sure you're deliberately improving yourself. Make sure you have a job. Make sure you have skills. Make sure you can hold your own. So when this comes, you're already solid. You already have something to do. You can fall back on your own self. You're ready. So always make sure that you're ready. Basically, that's what it is. Prepare yourself to where when the bridegroom comes, you're already just, you're ready. Basically, you tick all the boxes, and you're just, at this point, you're just like, okay, Lord, do your thing. Also, if you did it right, if you did everything that I just said, you worked on yourself as a single person, you improved on yourself, you prayerfully asked God for your spouse, and God sent your spouse, and you guys have, gone on a few dates, and he's like, oh, I think I want to marry you. Let's see how this goes. If you've done all of these things and you've prayed and God has told you that this is who the person is, and God has told the man, God doesn't tell one person, or God is going to tell you and God is going to tell the other person. And if you guys have heard from God, then what's the point? Why wait? There's no need to wait. Some people argue that, dating longer helps you to know the person. It helps you to understand the person. You can never know someone enough. Even being married to my husband for 4 years now, every day I still see new parts of him. I still see sides of him that I'm like, and I'm sure he sees new sides to me too. We grow every day, we change, we evolve, we learn, we unlearn, and we learn. The person I was 2 years ago is not the person I am today. The person I was yesterday is not the person I am today. My growth game is on point. I'm always growing. I'm wanting to improve. I'm wanting to be better. So that's just what it is. So as long as, again, you've heard from God, as long as you've heard from God and you're convinced that this is what God wants for you, then just hold God's hand, invite God as a third party, and watch everything go smoothly. So I just don't see why a courtship should take forever. It's just not for me. But some people might disagree, some people might agree. I only courted my husband for a little over 6 months, and I'm happy, because I spent years praying, seeking God's face, begging God, having my communication and relationship with God. I was basically in a covenant with God. And when it was time, I knew it was time. I didn't need anybody to tell me that it was time. I knew it was time, and I knew that God was holding my hands, and I knew that God was involved. I saw God's hand everywhere, all around my relationship at the time. And I still see God's hand every day. So again, as long as make sure you're working with God, make sure you're praying. And as long as God is with you, that's all. Marriage might be hard for others. Never ever prepare yourself to endure marriage. Always prepare yourself to enjoy marriage. So as long as God is with you, you're going to enjoy your marriage. Thank you for watching. Look forward to my next video. Thank you. Like and subscribe. Bye.